viewers, praise God. I'm Ruth Midundo. As most of you know me very well, I've been trending in social media through TVs, and I've shared a lot of my stories. I'm here to save lives through my testimonies. I'm not here for fame or anything. I'm not here to look for a husband, but I'm here to testify and expose the kingdom of darkness. That's the reason why I'm here. So many people have looked for me. I've saved so many lives. I thank God. I'm a mentor. I've been mentoring so many people, and I've been fought several times. But I thank Almighty God for being here today, because it has not been an easy journey. For those who didn't watch my story, I'm going to share my story again today. As I introduce myself, I'm Ruth Midundo. I'm a single mother of one, a girl. I'm from Kisumu, Siaya County, Uyoma. To begin my story, I want to share with you about my life, what I've been through since I was born until I found myself here today, and everything I've gone through in life and what the Lord has done in my life. As I said, I'm here to save souls. So be free to talk to me, to share with me your story, and together we will win. Yes. If you have been struggling with masturbation, spirit husband, spirit of rejections, I'm here to talk to you, because I went through the same. Since I was born, it has been one battle to another. If not God, I would have committed suicide long time ago. I couldn't have been here. But because God held my hands and raised me, I'm saying God raised me because He did. I didn't grow up with my parents. I didn't grow up in the hands of someone, like a relative, like you can go to your auntie and you will say that my auntie raised me or my uncle raised me. I grew up alone. I raised myself, but God was taking care of me. That's why I'm saying this. To begin with my story, like from the day I was born, I'm a daughter of John Midundo Okaya the late. My sweet dad, may you rest in peace. John Midundo Okaya had 2 wives. My mother is the second wife. Through my growing, life was so difficult for me. I grew up knowing that I didn't have a mother. I used to hear a story. I could hear through my mom telling people, like when I was growing up, you know, from 10 years, from 8 to 10 years at least, you'll understand some things, yeah. When elders are talking, yeah, when women are gossiping, you could hear stories, yeah. So she used to tell a story that for her to conceive and raise her kids was not easy. Yeah, she buried 3 kids before I was born. The moment she gives birth to a child will just grow. But by the time they were reaching 1 year old, they would just collapse and die. The reason behind that, I don't know. I couldn't know. Yeah. So, family were angry. My dad was working in Nairobi, and she used to stay in the village with the co-wife. They could just be visiting their husband. Yeah, when this one goes, the next time the other one will go stay with the kids, like that. So, as you know, there were no phones. Someone would just write a letter. The person who will go to Nairobi is the one who will be given this letter. Maybe the letter will take time. So the third one died, and my father couldn't be reached. And when the third kid died, the family decided to chase my mom away, that she's a witch, maybe she have problems, why is she not keeping kids, why are all her kids dying whenever they turn to 1 year, every time. So they were tired, yeah, and they were chasing away. And I heard that my father had a brother called Oyuga. I didn't find him, he died even before I was born. And this Oyuga was on my mom's side, and they were like, no, you cannot chase John's wife away. Their husband is not here to chase her. So why would you chase someone's wife? Okay, let me take her to her husband, to Nairobi. Maybe the husband will have the right to chase her by himself, but not you guys. And he pleaded with the family, and they agreed. And he took my mom to Nairobi. He brought my mom to Nairobi to her husband. So they reached. My dad was at work. In the evening, my dad came, and everyone was excited. He was excited for him. He was excited. Oh, you guys have come. Oh, okay, where's Ochieng? He's looking around, looking for the child, and people started crying that we are sorry. We buried him 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And he was like, okay, and why are you here? And the brother told him about everything, and he was like, yeah, my family are right. And grandmother wrote a letter and gave the son, take this one to your brother. And the letter was saying that this woman must leave. She's a witch. She can't keep kids. We have decided to chase her, and so we prefer that you chase her from there. We don't want to see her again. And the brother was pleading with my dad, yeah, begging like, please, let her stay. Let us give her a last chance to, if the kid does not survive again, then I will agree. I've accepted. We can just chase her. So my uncle left my mom in Nairobi, and she conceived soon. When she conceived, and when someone was going to the village, would tell, oh, she's pregnant, and people are like, what's that? She's always pregnant. It's not something new. And she gave birth to me now. When she gave birth, everyone was waiting for that 1 year to reach. Yeah. And when she gave birth, she could tell a story that she didn't give birth normal. Like, she never had a kid like me. I was prettier. I was fat, good looking. And even dad could go to the office and call people around, come and see my daughter. Wow, she's beautiful. Yeah, than everyone, ABCD. And my father was very happy, and my father loved me so much, so much. And he named me after his mom. Yes, being the first daughter. So later people went to the village. I was taken to the village a few months later, and people were waiting for me to die. Yeah. And the Lord protected me. I survived after this 1 year. So when I turned to 2 years old, my mom conceived again, and I saved her marriage. She survived. And my follower also survived, and that's how we stayed home. So we could visit dad during holidays, yeah. But we were based in Kisumu, in Uyoma, all of us, yes. So later, when I started going to school, my life was bright. My future was very bright. I was very bright in class. I was ever number 1. Those who knows me, those who went to school with me, you can testify to that. And most of them were like, no, this position is for Ruth always. We cannot take it from her. So I was very bright in class, and my life was just okay. And I was very, very close to my stepmom. She really loved me. Genuinely, she loved me. And even some people thought that I was her real daughter. I don't know. Okay, for me, I just think that it was normal, yeah. And when I reached to class 5, I don't know what happened, because my mother started like, you should not go to that house. Yeah, that's how she started. You should not go to that house, because my stepsister did a KCPE, came to Nairobi. My stepmother had one son, the last born. So I was feeling like, okay, as in our house we are many, we are 3 girls, and the other side there's no girl. I can go and do the cleaning, wash utensils, take clothes to the lake and wash for her. And my mama was like, no, you cannot do that, you should stop going to that house. And I could cry, and I was asking myself, like, why is she stopping me? And from there, like, if whenever I could go, she would beat me. Yeah, she would beat me. And the other one would see, like, why are you beating Ruth? What did she do? And for me, I will tell off, like, because I came to your house, that's why I'm being beaten. And my mother just changed, and she started hating me for no reason. So I could just run around, like, going this side. When I got there, she would go there and pull me. This is not your mother, this is not your house. Yeah, you can't stay here. And so they could even fight over me, they could quarrel with each other. Then for me, I was like, what's going on? Because I didn't understand why this. I was in class 5, I can remember. And that was 1998. I could even run to my grandmother. She would come, with her mom now. She would come and pull me out and tell me that this is my mother's house. You cannot stay here. So life was so difficult for me. Yeah, life was so difficult for me. And being that my dad loved me so much, whenever my dad was home, I would be happy. I would be very happy, because I knew that I would go to that house comfortably. She will not pull me from that house, and I would stay with my dad in that house. Honestly, my father really loved me more than everyone. Yeah, in our house. I don't know if this was the thing that was bringing problem. I couldn't understand. In 1999, I lost this mama. Yeah, she died. Because even the time she was sick, I would go to her house to help her. I'd be beaten. I remember one time I shouted at my mother, I'm like, don't you know that my mother is sick? And she was like, what do you mean? She didn't even realize that her co-wife is sick. She's not seen outside, you know. I would go there, prepare porridge for her, run. Yeah, maybe my mother is not around. I would run, go there, wash utensils, run back. Like, so one time she caned me, and I shouted like, don't you know that my mother is sick? And she was like, why are you shouting at me? That, yes. And I was really crying that my mother is sick, so why are you beating me, helping her? And then she went inside. When she went to her house, her herself, she was shocked. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that she was sick. So from there, she had to chip in. She had to also to help her around. And she got to us, and Dad came. And they took her to the hospital, to Kisumu, and later she passed on. We lost her. That was 1999. And after we lost her, that didn't take long. Yeah. After 4 months, we lost Dad. My father died. Yes. When I lost my dad, I lost everything. I felt like I'm an orphan, completely orphan. I felt like there's no one I could run to. Mama is dead. And Papa is also dead. They're the only people who loved me genuinely. I would feel comfortable around them. And I swore never to stay home again. I swore never to stay there. When I said that I'll go to my grandmother, if they pull me from my grandmother, I'll forget about education. And I will go very far. Far. Because I knew that whenever I would go to my grandmother, I'll be brought back home. There'll be problems. I went to my grandmother, stayed with my grandmother. Still, I even changed the school to stay with my grandmama. Still, life was hard because our home and my grandmother's home is very close. We could share everything. We could share the lake, we could share the market, we could share the school. So we could see each other like every day. They bought a land close to our place. Yeah, and when life became so tough, there was this cousin of mine who came home when we lost my stepmom, and I told him, brother, can you take me with you? And my dad refused. My dad loved me so much. My dad could not allow me to leave home. Even the time I was running to my grandmother, if my dad would come from Nairobi and wouldn't find me home, someone would have to run and call me that daddy is coming, daddy has come, you have to be home. Then I would go running because I knew that I'd be safe when my father was around. So I left my grandmother's home. I ran away from home, and I dropped out of school. I went to Kisumu town. I worked as a house girl. I raised money. My salary was 500, I remember. That was 2001. When I reached the bus station with my first salary, I wanted to go far. Because even in Kisumu, I had relatives that could see me around. And yeah, so I wanted to go far where no one knows me. And I went up to Mombasa. When I reached the bus station, even I didn't have enough transport. The bus was 800, and I was told that I can't go, and I had to beg them to carry me, so they did. So when I reached Mombasa, I didn't know anyone. Yeah, I just started life, and I would go to every door, knock around, like, please, can you host me? Can I have a place of work? And when someone looked at me, they'll be like, do you even have an ID? And where did you come from? Who knows you? Like, do you have a relative here? And when I would say no, they didn't trust strangers because there's a lot of witchcraft in Mombasa. Yeah, so they would think that maybe you are sent. Yeah, you're not even a human being. You're just a demon or something. And life was hard. I ended up sleeping on the street when I have nowhere. If I have nowhere to go to, I would just sleep on the street. The next day I would just look around. The good thing with Mombasa people, Mombasa is safe. Mombasa is hot, so I couldn't feel even cold at night. Mombasa people are friendly. Yeah. The only problem is that if they don't know you, they can't trust you with their lives. So at the same time, I loved school. I really wanted to go back to school, and whenever I could get a job and at least request my boss, please give me a chance to go to school, and they'll be like, no, you can't go to school here. And I wanted to do my KCPE. Yeah, I wanted to do my KCPE, and I couldn't get that chance. I thank God because he walked with me. For me, I grew up knowing God. I was always praying, and God sent me to someone. And when I reached to this woman, she just loved me. When she saw me, she just loved me, and she trusted me. I cannot forget about her because she gave me a chance to do my KCPE, staying in her house. Though I was working for her, but at least just that chance, she gave me that chance. I cannot forget Mary Wangui, Emona. Emona gave me a chance to do my KCPE. She told me you will stay in my house, but you won't go from morning to school. You will go to evening classes, Gumbaru. If that's fine by you, you can just do it. Work for me during the day, in the evening, go to school. And I agreed, yeah. And I was convinced when I went to that school, I was told that KCP is the same. The only difference is you can go to school in the evening, but these ones are going to school in the morning. And you don't put on uniform, these ones are putting on uniform, but the exams are the same. And on that day of KCPE, you will sit together. You will do exams together. So I didn't have a choice. That's how I did my KCPE. Yes. And from there, I passed my exams. I was so excited to go to high school. Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't wait to put on a uniform of high school. I can't wait to go to even boarding school and ABCD. And I went back to Kisumu to my mom, thinking that she'll be excited. At least she has done something with her classes, with her education. When I went to her, you know, like right now, if I lose my daughter, I don't even know. Maybe I will kill myself, and I will walk all over. I will even go to social media. But for her, she didn't do anything. And when she saw me, she was not even that excited that, oh my God, God, you brought her home. And my auntie was also there at home, and she prayed for me because she started like, where have you been? And auntie told her, no, when the kid comes home, what the first thing you're supposed to do is just pray for her. Then you can question her later after she relaxed. You don't even know where she came from. You don't know about her journey. You don't know how she walked. And later, she started questioning me, and I told her I was in Mombasa. And then she just got cut. So after a few days, I told her about my school. I told her, Mommy, I've done KCPE and I've passed, and I want to go to high school. So I thought that maybe she would do something, like maybe do a business and take me to school, or even, find a way. Yeah. She didn't do anything. I went to my grandmother and I told her the same thing. My grandmother was very happy for me and my uncle. And what they were suggesting was for me to stay home, and that's what I didn't want. I wanted to go to boarding school. At least in boarding school, no one was going to bother me. I would just be concentrating with my studies. And since that couldn't work, I had to go back to Mombasa and continue with my life. I went back to Mombasa. I was still working as a house girl, paying for my own school fees, going for Gumbaru, yes, as an adult education. That's how I did it. And in 2005, life was so hard for me. In Mombasa, I couldn't find peace. I can just say that someone did something to me. I had a spirit of rejection. Everyone was mistreating me. Everybody. In Mombasa, I can't tell you how many houses I stayed in. I stayed in countless houses because someone will just chase me. Maybe I'll come back from school. This person will say, no, I can't continue with you. Just go. And this person will not even pay you your salary. And imagine it's night. Someone will tell you from that 9 when you're back from school that you can just leave my house. And it's 9 p.m. What can you do? I would end up sleeping outside like a street girl. Yeah, like a street kid. I was a kid. I was like 14, yes. So things were so tough. I was just patient. It was like my lifestyle already, because whenever I would go to someone's house, I would be just on my marks. I would be like, let me step with 1 foot here, because I know that the other one is outside. I'll be chased anytime. So I didn't care. I didn't care. I was just like, this is normal. They're not my relatives, so there's no problem. If they chase me away, that is not a problem. I continued like that, and in 2005, I was tired about that, with that kind of life. I came back to Nairobi. So when I came back to Nairobi, I had nowhere to stay. I remember I went to my stepbrother's house. When I went, they just welcomed me. I'm grateful. I stayed with them for a few months. Then later, they also chased me. without asking themselves, like, where is she going? Where will she stay? So for them, they were suggesting for me to go back to Mombasa. If I don't want to go back to my mother, I should go back to Mombasa and continue with my life. And when I thought of what I was going through in Mombasa, I just said no. I couldn't do that. So I talked to one of my cousins, and when I went to this cousin's house, she was like, Ruth, we are just struggling too, and we don't have, I don't have a job to sustain and things are hard. I told her, my sister, I don't mind even sleeping on the floor. Even if we don't have a mattress, I don't mind even putting on my clothes on the floor and sleep. Because even that house of ours, she was complaining that it's a single room. It was like a bungalow for me. It was like a mansionette for me. I used to sleep outside. It's only that I couldn't share. I couldn't tell anyone that I was going through this and that. It was nothing to me. She was like, no, you have to. I'm like, no, I don't have a problem. So she accepted and she hosted me. I could wash clothes for people. I was like, she was even surprised that, oh, now Ruth is the one buying food in this house. And I thought that's ABCD. So I grew up taking care of myself through my childhood. I'm this kind of a lady who didn't even grow up like enjoying life. Like girls can go out with friends and have fun and ABCD. Yeah, not even going to class, but at least someone will say, I went sleepover to visit a friend and we were doing homework, and I didn't pass through that kind of life. I matured when I was 12 years old because I had to take care of myself. No one was taking care of me. You are on your own. You have cramps, it is you. You have headache, no one will care about you. You are sick, you have to work for somebody. So you have just to be hardcore, be strong, like just do your things. And God was walking through with me. I stayed with my cousins for a few months. Yeah, for less than a year. She didn't chase me. They didn't chase me. They were two sisters. After that, I knew that I'm not stable in that house. I have to move. I have to do something with my life. And I had Sudanese friends whom I talked to, and I started questioning them, like, if I want to go to Sudan, how much? Because for me, I just wanted to go very far. I didn't want to even to stay close. Yeah, I grew up alone, so there's no need for me even to stay close with the family. Yeah, I just wanted to go very far and find my life. Yes, I went to, they told me 4,000. I'm like, wow, 4,000. And I managed to raise this money. Yeah, I remember that time. My father's money came out, and they got a lot of money, about 900,000. And everyone was given money from my father's money. And for me, I was not given anything. They refused to give me. I was like an outcast to my mom and my entire family. I was not given anything. So that time, I said to myself, okay, now it's time for me to go and claim what belongs to me. And when I went and people started problem, fighting, what. So I was just given 5,000. And when I was given this 5,000, stepsister gave me this 5,000. And I took this money with me. I went and I prayed and I cried with my father's name. And I told my father that this is the only money that I've received from you. From your money, this is the only thing they have given me. And what I'm going to do with this money, my father, I want to put them into shame. Yeah, I'm being mistreated because you're not here. I want to put them into shame. So whatever I'm going to do using this money, please just bless it for me. And I went to Sudan with this money. When I reached to Sudan, there were no houses. Things were hard, but at least there was money. I was offered $100 per month. You can imagine someone who was getting 500 shillings per month. is now going to get $7,000, 7,000 Kenya shillings per month, and I was just a kid. I was 21 years. Yeah, I was just a girl, yes. So that money was enough for me. And when I reached to Sudan, things were not so easy the way I thought. There were no houses, there was no security. Yeah, those people are kind of, I'm sorry to say this, but very, very crazy. Yeah, when they see someone like me, some were being even carried by force. Yeah, a giant would come and say, today I'm going to carry you, because we're working in a restaurant, and of course you'll see many and they will spot you. Yeah, but I thank God, because I'm a Luo, they loved me. Whenever they would ask me, like, where are you from? I would say Kenyan. Which tribe? Luo. And they would be like, oh, wow, our sister, welcome home. Me, God was with me. Because even when I was on the street or anything, nothing happened to me. So God was still with me when I went through this journey to Sudan. God was still with me. I would hear stories. I would see. Yeah, some girls were even being raped, ABCD, but for me, God protected me. Yes. So, still, it was not that safe. And later, they would be like, okay, you are our sister. Why are you not dating us? Because for them, they wanted foreigners to date them by force. They would even look at themselves and ask themselves, are we ugly? Are we black? Are we huge? Are we like monkeys? Why are you not seeing us? Like, what do you see in foreigners, your fellow foreigners than us? So you have to date someone from Sudan. Sudan was still one those days. And when you're dating them, they will respect you. So the harassment was too much sometimes, yeah. And I had to date someone for my security. That's how I met my baby daddy, my daughter's father. So when I met him, he was just a nice person, yeah. And we believed that Dinka people were feared. Yes, when you're dating someone from Dinka tribe, you'll be safe. So I was dating a Dinka, and that was 2006. And 2009, God blessed us with a child, my daughter. This guy would leave me to Sudan, go to Uganda, come back. Yeah. So in 2009, I conceived. When I conceived, he didn't deny his child, but he was irresponsible. He didn't want to do anything like taking care of me. And Sudan was very hot, and there were no hospitals. Yeah, and I was ever sick. So I requested him to give me some money to go home with, at least to start my life. Because in Kenya, when I was coming to Kenya, being that I grew up alone, taking care of myself, I didn't want to come to someone's house with a pregnancy. I wanted to start my life. And at least I had savings. Since I was not doing anything, I just left. I had savings, and I came home and I started my life. And I could sell chips on the street. Yeah. And I rented a house. So later my cousin was like, Ruth, yeah, when you give birth, you'll have to stay home. You will suffer. You need to take care of yourself. You need to give these people pressure to support you. Yeah, the father of your kid is supposed to be sending you money monthly or weekly. Yeah, you can't take care of yourself like that. You can't be suffering. Yeah, she was right, because I was training a lot. And I remember sending him a message that if you cannot take care of me, I'll just do an abortion and come back to Juba, because I was taking care of myself when I was alone. But now I'm pregnant, I'm sick, I'm weak, there's nothing I can do. And I thank God he told his dad about me, and his dad called me and promised to support me. And it's true, he supported me. I thank God for him. I'm so grateful. Yeah, he's the only person that I can allow see my daughter, even up to now. But it was not too much. I was just appreciating the little that he was doing for me, and he took care of me until I gave birth. And when my daughter reached 1 year old, this man abandoned me. In fact, he chased me out of his house. They moved into Nairobi in Lavington, and I remember there was a time I was sick and I had to go for surgery. I had a growth, yeah, ovarian cyst, and I was struggling, and he promised to pay for my bills, and he was like, okay, just pay with the money you have. When I come back from Juba, I'll return you the money. When he came back and I was there in his house, I'm sorry to talk about everything, but I want to let go because this thing has been paining me for so many years. He came. Those days he was a minister. So whenever he could come to Nairobi, he was coming to meet his fellow ministers in Kenya. When he came, I saw him giving his daughter a lot of money in an envelope. And for me, he didn't care about me. Remember that spirit of rejection. It could follow me everywhere. I would see no peace. I could find love, but later things would change. And for me, I'm this kind of person who have kismet. The luck is on my side. I never met a poor person here. So he could come and meet his fellow ministers and go back to Juba. So when I saw him giving this lady a lot of money, and he had promised to give me back the money I used like 30,000 for my operation, and I heard him speaking in Arabic, telling the daughter that tomorrow he is going back to Juba. And I asked him, Papa, what about my money that I used? And he asked me, how much did you use? I told him 30,000. And he started shouting at me that, no, I was told you use 15,000 and I'm going to give you 20. And yeah, that's it. So he left. When he left, I was straight trying to convince him through a text message that, Papa, you know, I don't have a job. And you know, your son is not supporting me. I have a little baby that I need to take care of. So at least if I get this 30,000 back, at least I know it will push me until I recover. And he still insisted on giving me 20, and he was like, don't ever call my number. In fact, you should just get out of my house. Yeah. And I remember sending him this message. I told him, you know what, Baba? My God will not forsake me with my daughter. And I carried my Ujaluo. We have a lot of pride. I'm sorry. Pride is a sin. I carried my Ujaluo with me and took a taxi and went back to my Mabati house. Because when my daughter was few months, I took her to Sudan. And when I took her, because they were not sending me anything, when I took my daughter there, this man, the Muzee, gave me some money, $2,400. When I changed this money, it was 130,000. And I knew that he was not going to be sending me money every now and then. So I constructed a house in my father's compound in Jericho. Yeah, I built my own house there. So at least I was not paying rent. So when he chased me, I went back to that Mabati house of mine, the structure that I had built. That's where I went with my daughter. So at least we had an accommodation. And I was like, food, God will provide until I recover. Yes. So I took my daughter, I went. The way I was sick, I could wash clothes for people to survive with a child. And when I recover later, I could go to Sudan to look for a job, leave my daughter with the house girl, come back home after every 2 weeks because she was little and I was stressed leaving her behind. So that's how I was doing it. That's how we were living. And she started going to school. And for me, I wanted a best for my daughter. I wanted a good life for my daughter. And I was asking myself, so for how long will I live in this kind of house? For how long will I stay like this? I need to do something better with my life. I need to continue with my life. I need to forget about these people. And I thank God in 2014, we were in a friend's house in Juba there. And another friend came from China and she was like, you girls go to China. Sudan life is hard, but China at least is better than here. You don't struggle much. So, and she was like, Ruth, you're a very hardworking person. I know you can make it. Why can't you go? And I was interested because I wanted the best for my child. I asked her how much, and she said 130,000 is enough, which was like $1,300. Yeah, maybe less than that. And I managed to raise this money. I managed to raise this money, and I was serious, and I came home and applied for the visa, and I got the visa, and I went. When I was leaving, going to China, I left my daughter with a maid, and I prayed to God, and I told God, you are the one who is sending me to that land, a land whereby I don't know anybody. The way you sent me to Sudan is the way you are sending me to China. So please walk with me. Don't let me be stranded. Don't let me be deported. Don't put me into shame. And God always listened to our prayers. So I went. When I reached to China, things were not so easy. Being new in a certain place, a country you've never been, I stayed there for 3 weeks with nothing. And remember, I have 1 month tourist visa. I had remained with like 5 days for my visa to expire. And when the visa expires, the next thing is for you to be arrested and to be deported. And remember, I had nothing, like I didn't have any money with me. And where I was staying, I was paying like 800 shillings per day, which was 50 yuan per day. And I didn't have a job. So the owner of the house wanted money. I didn't have money for my visa. I was so stranded, I didn't even know what to do. I remember that time I prayed. After prayers, a girl came from another city, and she was like, she wants to go to the market, I don't know to buy what. And I went. She told me, Ruth, let's go, you walk around, you see China, don't just stay at home. And for me, I'm not this kind of person who likes to walk up and down. And we went. When we went, imagine I met an angel who was sent by God. I met a certain guy, yeah, a Kenyan, a Luo guy, and I was not even interested to talk to him. And there's a lady whom we went with, was a Luo, the first lady I met there, and she told me that, Ruth, do you know that I like Luo people? If you spot any Luo in China, just show me. You spot any man from a Luo, just show me. And we went. And when we went, I overheard this guy conversing with the Chinese, and the accent, I overheard him. And for me, I never like, I was like trying to dodge him. I didn't know that this was my angel that God sent to me. And I went upstairs. Yeah. And I told that, because we were in a restaurant, we were eating, and I told that lady that, do you know what, you told me that if I see any Luo, I should tell you I've seen a Luo guy. And she came running, and I told her, okay, you know that guy who's sitting over there is a Luo, just go and talk. And she went straight and started talking in Luo, blah 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 blah. And the man was like, how did you know that I'm a Luo? And she was like, Ruth told me. Who is Ruth? And that girl over there. And the guy was smiling, looking at me, and was coming straight to me that, how did you know that I'm a Luo? I just told him that, yeah, just like that. And so the lady was excited talking to the guy, and the guy was just looking at me like straight in the eye. I would look down, and in my heart I was like asking myself, what is wrong with this man? Why is he looking at me like that? So when we were leaving, in China, when you don't have credit on your phone, someone cannot reach you. So this lady wanted this guy to give him the contact, to give her his contact, and the lady's phone didn't have credit, so the guy could not call. And she was even pushing me like, remove your phone, let him just have your number and ABCD. So when we reached to the house we were staying, so the lady was like, has the guy called you? I said no. And then later in the night, the guy sent me a message that, have a good night, angel, sleep well. And for me, I didn't care. And the next day, that lady had to leave to her city. She was going back to work. And for me, I stayed there. The next day, that same night, the guy was sending me messages, asking me, like, Ruth, I'm sorry to bother you. You didn't reply my message. And I told him I don't have time. Yeah, I was really stressed. And he told me that, Ruth, I saw that you are someone who is stressed. Something is bothering you. What is bothering you? I told him that, as if he will help. And he was still bothering me, so sending so many messages that my heart is telling me that something is bothering you, and I'm the one who is supposed to save your life. And he told me that, okay, since you're saying that, I'm bothering you. Those whom you know, I told him that I cannot tell a stranger about my story. And he told me that for those whom you know, or who are not strangers to you, what have they done for you so far? And when I looked around in the house, there was no one who was going to help me. That lady, I thought that at least this one is my fellow who can help me. She didn't even give me even 10 yuan. She didn't help me with anything. With my visa, she didn't even show me that do this, do that. She just left me there. And I told him, okay, what is bothering me is my visa, and I need to get a 1-year visa. If I don't get this visa, I'll be deported, and I have a baby at home. I'm a single mother, ABCD. And he asked me how much is the visa. I told him it's $700. And he told me, okay, fine. Come and take tomorrow. Give me the direction, I bring for you the money. And I thought it was a joke. But in my heart, I knew that I told God to send someone like this. So there was a place, a hotel called Nairobi Hotel. That is where Kenyan people are meeting. And I sent him the direction of Nairobi Hotel. And the next day, the guy came. When this guy came, it was a miracle. The guy came and started questioning me a little. And he told me, there's no need for me. I know you don't want to talk too much. Take your money. I was surprised. Take your money. And he asked me, where do you stay? I told him I stay in Jericho. And he told me that you don't behave like Jericho girls because you told the truth. Take another $100. And the guy gave me $700. And he was like, bye-bye, all the best. Go and look for your visa. So I went with this money. I went to Hong Kong. I got my 1-year visa. And I started my life. That's how this guy was sent to me. That angel was sent to me like that, just to save my life. I continue with my life in China. I would come home every now and then. And I would leave my daughter with the house girls. And the house girls were really disturbing me. They were mistreating my daughter. So most of the time I would just run home, come home. My baby wasn't okay. My entire family didn't want to take care of my daughter. My own siblings, my own sisters didn't want to take care of my daughter. They didn't want anything to do with me. What happened is that the time I was working in Sudan, I was helping my family. I even took my other brother to Sudan. I took my relatives. I took so many people to Sudan. I was really helping a lot. The time I conceived, it's only me who knew the truth. It's only me who knew the truth. So I had to pull off, like, my hands were tied. I could not help them again. And they were talking. They started saying that, hey, she's stingy. She don't want to help. And they got angry with me, and they were talking of like my daughter has spoiled for them because of my daughter. I don't give them money anymore. Yeah, and they didn't want to take care of my daughter for me. So I would leave my daughter with strangers. Imagine I would go to China. Whenever someone tells me that your daughter is not okay, I would change my ticket, come home. Every time. And that same problem I had. My daughter had the same problem because everybody was mistreating my daughter, and everyone was threatening me. Whoever had my daughter could threaten me. And whenever I would reach home, this person will even lie that I'm not sending money to her. Imagine, I was sending a lot of money, and people are benefiting with my money. And this kind of person will even take me to the chief saying that I've not paid. I have to pay again. Imagine, that is what I was going through with my daughter. So that was my life. Just go and come, go and come. One time a friend of mine met me at the cargo where we were sending goods, and he asked me that, Ruth, what's up? I said, imagine I'm going home. To do what? My daughter. You with this your daughter. Every time your daughter, your daughter, your daughter. Like whenever you go to Kenya, it's about your daughter. Don't you have a mother to take care of your daughter for you? Or a sister? Why do you leave your daughter with the husband? I would just shed tears because you can't tell about everything. You can't tell people about how you live with your family and ABCD. I would cry because I wasn't saving. He told me that you're always working for the ticket in this China. You're always working for the ticket. I would just cry. Yeah. And that was what was happening. I felt like I was suffering a lot. I grew up knowing God, but I wanted to know God more and much more. And in 2016, I gave my life to Christ. because okay, when they are teaching, like when you have Christ in you, when you have Jesus in your life, everything is okay. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything shall be added unto you. So I wanted God to add me a husband, a good life, money, good business. At least I stay home and take care of my daughter like my fellow women. So after giving God my life, because I wanted to see something different, and I gave Jesus condition. I told Jesus that if I don't see any change in my life, then I will know that you don't exist, because I've suffered a lot since my childhood. I've been suffering. I'm not seeing anything good, yeah, in my life. And when I gave Jesus my life, after a few months, the Lord started using me. I went back to China. The Lord started using me in China. I would sing. Yeah, I would dream about song, compose a song, sing. And I came back home and released that first album. After releasing my first album, I can just say that there are temptations out there. Yeah, people will come to you and you'll think that, oh, my life has changed. The way I asked God to change it, things have changed. And those days, I remember, I could not walk on the road normally without no man stopping and looking at me. And in my inbox, men were flocking. So I was walking like someone who have something like a medicine on my body, because everyone was noticing. Even women were, oh wow, this girl is beautiful, wow. So at the same time, I was feeling like, okay, see, I'm born again. So yeah, when you have God, everything is added unto you. But one time I took a day and I fasted and to ask God if these things are genuine, like, are they real? Are they from you? And after that prayer, everything disappeared. Those men disappeared and everything. So when I fasted, I asked God to bless me with my own husband. I told God I want my own husband. Yeah. And after that, I went back to China, and it didn't even take 2 months after that prayer. A friend of mine, she was there in China, and she came back home. She didn't want to go back. One time she sent me a message that, Ruth, how are you? I got you a husband, just like that. And I was laughing around, and I'm like, what do you mean you got me a husband? Did I tell you that I was looking for a husband? And she said that, no. There's this guy who has been bothering me, and he's in Europe, and he wants a wife, and he's a Luo like you, and because I know you, you're this kind of woman who's responsible, you're hardworking, you don't drink, you don't jump around, you're just decent, and I think that you fit this guy, yeah. So I want to connect you. Are you interested? And I said, no. First of all, he's a Luo like me. Me, I don't want Luo men. I never like Luo men, by the way. And I'm serious about it. Secondly, I didn't tell you that I was looking for a husband. But in my heart, I was saying, oh, I think I asked God to give me a husband. At least when I have a husband, I will settle home. I will stay home with my baby. I'll take care of my baby the way I want. Yeah. And she was like, please don't let me down. I already told the guy about you. Please don't let me down. Okay, just talk to him because of me. Yeah, for my sake, just do it. Even if you don't want anything to do with him, at least he will know that I've already introduced you guys. And I've already told him about you. So very soon, this person is going to contact you. And I said, okay, fine. I'll just talk to him. And we started communicating. He was in Switzerland. I was in China. We were communicating. And that time was August. I had just come from home. That was around, yeah, July. I had just come from Kenya to China. And for him, it was like, next month, August, I'm going to Kenya. Can we meet? I said, no, I'm not going to Africa in August. I'm going back home in December. Then he said, okay, because of you, I'll go home in December. And we started we were communicating, we were just talking normally. And in December, I came home, and the guy followed me That was, I came around 10th December. The guy came on 22nd December. When he came, this guy has been living in Europe all his life. Yeah, he's been living in Europe. So he didn't own anything in Kenya. He didn't have anything in Kenya. He didn't have a house. He didn't have, yeah, if he was to come to Nairobi, he would have gone to the hotel. So he told me that if you're comfortable in your house, I'll come to your house. Then from there, I'll take you home for introduction to my people, and I meet your people and we get married. So I said, it's okay, you can just come to my house. And he came to my house. That was 22nd. On 23rd, because he told me that we are going to Kisumu after Christmas, after a week, then I said that's better because I was not planning to go to. On 23rd, in the evening, his brother came. And when his brother came to me and told me that, my in-law, I'm taking you guys, I'm taking you home. That was around 7 p.m. I'm taking you home at 10 p.m. Mommy and Daddy really wants to see you, Ruth. And I said, no, I cannot go. That, no, you have to go with us. I said, no, what you are going to do, you'll just receive me. Let me come after Christmas, you will receive me. And they said, no, Mommy and Daddy say we cannot leave you behind. We have to go. So they were giving me pressure. They said, just pack your stuff and I'm coming to pick you. He had his own car, and by 10 he came and he picked us and we went. Around 3 a.m. we were in Kisumu. We checked in a hotel because it was too early, and the guy didn't even have a house in his home, and they had bought a land and constructed a new house, a new home. So this guy didn't even have his own house. He cannot sleep in his parents' house. We had to check in a hotel, and we stayed. And by 7, the parents were calling the younger brother, hey, bring Ruth home, bring her home. Why are you people delaying? We really want to see Ruth. And imagine their son was stuck in Europe. He never came to Kenya. Like, he doesn't come home easily. Yeah, his own life is in Europe. So in my heart, I was like, these people are very funny. Why me? And when we reached home, because I told them, guys, since tomorrow is Christmas, why can't we just buy some food in the supermarket, then go home? And we went. After the shopping, we went home. And when we were reaching home, the mother was so excited. Yeah, she could even shout. She was like so excited. She was screaming, hey, Ruth is coming. And for me, I would just laugh. I'm like, this woman is crazy. Like, in a good way. Yeah, she's kind of funny. And when we reached home, I don't know about those people's culture, because they were saying that since the home was built, the other siblings of my guy could not eat from that home. They could not do anything because he is the firstborn. Being the firstborn is blocking the younger ones from doing anything, eating, building, doing anything. So they would go home to their parents, but they could not eat there. So when we reached, they would be like, hey, come and open a table for us, Ruth. Come and open a table. I'm like, okay. I'm asking him, George, opening a table, how? And and he would tell me that starting to eat. Then I asked him why, that, these ones were not eating, so I'm the elder and I was blocking their ways. And I asked him, okay, why not you? That, no, you are like me. You can do what I can do. So they were like, hey, come open the table for us. And we sat on the dining table, and the mother and father was like, okay, bite a bread, take a sip of tea, then we follow you. And I was doing everything. During lunch, the same story. During dinner, the same story. We went back to the hotel, and I asked the guy, okay, now that we have come, for me, I don't want to stay here for long. I wasn't comfortable, by the way. My heart did not accept this person. Yeah, my heart did not accept him. So I asked him, when are we going back to Nairobi? And he said, they were talking of tomorrow. They are going to build for you a house. After that, we can go. I'm like, which house? That your house? I have to build a house to open a way for the younger ones. Then I asked him, why didn't you tell me all this before? They just told me when we came, so there's nothing I can do. Yeah, and I have a flight ticket back to Switzerland, so that's what is going to take place tomorrow. And I was just normal. Yeah, I was just normal. And me, the way I grew up, I'm this kind of person who keeps secrets a lot. I don't tell people about my things. So when I was there, I didn't even call any of my relatives and tell them I'm in Kisumu, I'm in Kajulu, I'm in ABCD, I'm in this guy. I didn't say anything. So in the supermarket, we met my auntie. She's the only person who saw me. And I told her that I will come with my guy to say hello to you. So from there, the next day, in the morning by 7, they were calling again. Come, 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 come. The workers are already here. Come, we build for you a house. And we went. When we went, the father was like, come, 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 stand here, stand here. Okay, we want to build for you a house. Start digging the hole for these workers to continue. Yeah, for building for you. There were no prayers because for me I used to see that they call church people, they surround the place, people are praying and ABCD. I didn't see that. Start digging. And for me, I was just digging. And then they were like, okay, let them continue. Later, you come back again. They're calling me, come, 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 come. Come and put these poles inside the hole. Then they continue. I was doing that. Again, come, 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 come and take this iron sheet. Now they're telling me, you and George can hold the iron sheets. Give them up to continue building. That was what was happening. I was cooking. We were doing everything, eating there together. I knew nothing. So we stayed there. This thing took place. It took like a week. Yeah. So immediately after the house was done, we were just relaxing in the afternoon around 2 p.m. in a room, in kids' room, and he came to me. George came to me and told me the truth. Tomorrow we are going to your home. Daddy and Mommy told me that tomorrow we are going to for introduction to meet your people. And I said, no, you cannot go. And he asked me why. I said, no, because you people are rushing me. Like everything you want to take me, like even if you have a return ticket, what is this? And he said, if you don't want to go, go and tell my parents at the balcony that you don't want to go and tell them what you want them to do. Me, I will not tell them anything because I'm afraid they will start shouting and ABCD. The guy knew his parents, so he knew what they're up to with me. Yeah. And a few days, like after 2 days, when we were cooking in the kitchen, because as a woman you can't sit like a guest, you have to move around and do ABCD. And the sister, the wife to George's brother, was telling me the truth. Do you know what? The time you came to this home, the first thing these people did, they had put something at the door for you to pass. You could hear them calling, hey, bring Ruth, come, come, come. They had put something, you passed this thing. The first meal you ate, they had put some medicine in your food. And this lunchtime and supper. So that from there, you had already eaten those things. And I was like, why? Because they want you to stay. They don't want you to go. They want you to be like controlling you. You'll be staying in this home. When they feel like doing this to you, they'll just do it because their son is stuck in Europe and he cannot represent the family. So when they want someone like the elder to do things, you'll be there representing him. And for me, I was just normal. I was not even shocked because me, I didn't grow up with these things. I don't know anything about witchcraft. And in my heart, I was asking her, okay, why is she telling me this and she's here in this home? What is she up to? And at the same time, I was feeling, oh, maybe she's jealous of me. And the first day I was welcomed home, the parents followed me up to the room where I was. And they were telling me, don't worry. You are the elder in this house. You are the elder in this home. That gate, if you don't open that gate, no one can open that gate. You hear us? You feel welcome, feel at home. This is your home. These other people. Don't mind them. Even if they've been here for years, don't mind them. You are the first. You are the first. If you say no, nothing can happen in this home. If you say yes, that's it. So I was like, but these people really welcomed me. What is this lady talking about? And I just said, it's okay. There's no problem. So when they told me that they wanted to go for introduction, I told them, no, we cannot go, Daddy and Mommy, because I'm not ready to go to my home. I don't like going to my village because I knew, like, by the way, me, I don't go to my village anyhow. I would go to my grandmother. I would pass my home and go to my grandmother because I know what is there between me and my mom until date. We are not friends. We are not close. How can I just go and tell her I have guests, you know? And I'm sorry to say this, she's not welcoming. Yeah, she have attitude most of the time, and I didn't want just to, because they were talking of tomorrow we'll enter one car and go without even calling them, without even saying anything. I told them what we are going to do. We are going to meet here in Kisumu. Those people will come here. I have so many relatives in Kisumu. We can meet here. Then they said okay, okay. Then I told them, you know, I don't trust village people with my lives. And they said, oh yeah, yeah, that's good. You are protecting your husband. You're a good wife. Yeah, maybe they will witch him. Then I said, yeah, you never know. Yeah. I called my auntie. I told my auntie that, do you remember those people you met me with in the supermarket? One of them wants to marry me, as I told you. So I want to come. We organize. We are going to do introduction in your house. So she told me, oh, run, come, we organize. And I went. And my auntie, I told my auntie everything. I told my auntie, this guy, my heart does not accept this person. My heart does not welcome these people. First of all, I don't know him too well. We just met, and he's staying in Europe. I was in China. I don't know him that much. I don't know his family that much. I don't know much about all of them. And I don't feel like I should take them to my people. But because they're insisting, let them just come to your house. And she told me, don't worry, my daughter. If your heart does not welcome him, then there is something about this person. And introduction is nothing. If you don't feel like introducing him to your family, is okay. Introduction can be, you can introduce even 10 men to your people. You can even, you know, yes. So introduction is not tying you in any way. If he pays your dowry, that is when we'll say he has tied you, cannot go anywhere. But because it's just an introduction, it's nothing. You'll do an introduction and they will go their way. So we called the Uyoma people, and the next day we met. And after meeting, after introduction, everyone went their ways, and those people left. And I slept at my auntie's place. Then the next day, when I reached to that home, the mother and father were there, and they were like, Ruth, Uyoma, you know what? Your house is done, and tonight you must sleep in this house tonight. And I just said, okay, no problem. And when the night reaches, that was around 3 p.m. When the night reaches, and it was around 9, we used to say like, goodbye when we are going back to the hotel. Good night, we are going back. Because they told me that we had already checked out your things. They are here. You are no longer going to sleep in the hotel. So I don't know what they planned. And it's like this guy, I don't know whether he was aware or he wasn't aware. Yeah. So he just stood in the middle of their home, and he told me that, Ruth, how can we come from abroad and sleep in this ugly house? This house is ugly, it's cold, maybe there is a snake inside. How can we sleep here? Let us run back to the hotel, but don't tell them that we slept in a hotel. We rush back, and in the morning we come and we pretend that we slept here. And I told him, George, I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm very tired. Since I came from Nairobi, I've been working like a donkey from here, from my home. When you came to my place, my auntie's place, I was the one cooking. Coming, I'm so tired. And tomorrow I'm traveling back to Nairobi. I have to take my daughter to school. So you just go back to the hotel. For me, I will go and sleep with kids. And he said, okay, that's understandable. What you're going to do, don't let mommy and daddy see you. Just pass behind the door and enter. So I went round and I entered through kitchen. And I slept with kids. In the morning, when we woke up, I overheard the mom. I was already in the kitchen washing utensils, preparing breakfast because I wanted to go early in the morning. Yeah, and I overheard the mom asking like, "Hey, where is Ruth?" And George was like, "Ruth is in the house." And the mother was like, "Oh wow, yeah, this girl is at working, eh? She already woke up, eh? That mommy, you didn't see Ruth? She slept there." And the mom was like, what? What do you mean she slept there? That, yeah, Ruth slept in the house. And the mother was like, why? And she started shouting, and she was angry, and she came to call me from the kitchen like she wants to beat me. And she was shouting, why did you sleep in my house? I already built for you a house there. What is wrong with you? And she was quarreling to me, and the father overheard her shouting, and all. He also came and joined the wife, and the wife. I told them, go and ask your son what he did. It was not me, it was your son. And when they wondered, why is Ruth saying that you are the one who, and he was just laughing. And the father was like, there's no problem. Today, you must sleep in that house. That's when my eyes opened. Like, why are they insisting that I should sleep in this house? I didn't know there is something that I was supposed to finish. If I had slept in that house, I was going to open a way for the younger ones. Yeah. And at the same time, if I had slept in that house, I was later going to die. They were going to sacrifice me. They have done a lot. So I was like, I have to open the ways for everyone. I had opened the ways for them to be eating already. That was done. I had opened the ways for everything. So what was remaining was for me to open the ways for the younger boys to be sleeping in their houses with their wives, Yeah, because the elder have already done it. And for me, since I was being used, I was later going to die and their life was going to continue. And I insisted that no, I'm not going to sleep here. I'm going back to Nairobi. And I was very angry because they were shouting at me. I'm like, these people are using me. I've been working here. They don't appreciate me. Now because of sleeping, they're shouting at me. I left George and I went to Nairobi. I came back to Nairobi. And later George followed me. And later he went back to Switzerland. When he went back to Switzerland, I also prepared myself and went back to China because I couldn't stop going to China. Yeah. He didn't marry me yet. Yes. So when I prepared myself to go back to China, because I used to talk to his family, I called the parents telling them that I'm traveling. They were not answering my calls. They never talked to me. I said, fine. I called George and I'm like, why your parents are not talking to me? And he said, leave them. Don't mind about them. And I didn't mind about them and I went. I said, is his parents? He knows them than me. And I went back to China. When I reached to China, still I tried calling them. They didn't pick my calls. And that's how I washed my hands on them. I stayed there in China for 5 months. I had to sacrifice to stay for 5 months, even if my daughter was not with a good person. I knew there were elections coming in 2017 in August. So that was January. I had to stay until June, then come home and wait for elections then. So we had an agreement with George that we'll meet home in July. I came home. I stayed home and George followed me after a few days. No, like after a month. I was home in July. George came in June. George came in July. When George came in July, I didn't know there was a big problem in their family. He was told never to talk to me since I left that home. They said I'm big-headed. I don't want to listen to them. I like moving around. They wanted me to go to stay in that house. I had refused. They wanted me to carry my things to go and stay there so that they control me. We stay together. They monitor me because George is not around. I cannot mess around everything. And I just told that your family don't know me. I'm not this kind of a woman who jump up and down. And so he was like, yeah, I know you. Yeah, I know you. So don't mind about them. So when he came, I had told the brother that, your brother is coming soon. And he asked me, when? I'm like, okay, are you guys not talking? I didn't know they were fighting. The entire family were fighting because of me. They were insisting that George should leave me, never to talk to me. And he was telling them, frankly, that I cannot leave Ruth. She's my woman. I cannot leave her. And you people knew her through me. So how can you tell me to leave someone whom I'm the one who brought for you? So George came. When George came, I told your brother you're coming soon, but I didn't say when. And he started shouting at me. Why did you talk? Why did you tell him? And then I asked him, oh, are you not going to Kisumu? No. I cannot go and see those witches. Then I asked him, why are you calling your people witches? Yeah, they are witches. You don't know them. Those people are wizards. I cannot go to them. I came here for my woman. I came to see my woman. Then I told him, please, I'll be in trouble. If you don't go home, I will be in big trouble. They will say that I am the one who turned you against them. Please try and go. Or if you don't want to go, please call them. And he said no. So I couldn't force him. He would say that I'm forcing him because he's in my house. Yeah. I left him. The next day, his mother called me with a different phone number. I didn't know. And it was night, around 8. I received a phone call, and the person was like, hi, yeah, habari yako, msichana yangu. I'm like, okay, who is this? I'm Sylvia. Which Sylvia? Sylvia Oduor. And I'm like, okay, who is Sylvia Oduor? Mama George. And then she was talking to me with a different tone of voice, and I'm like, okay, Mama George. And he said, Sylvia, and Nyauyoma Kawunikia, like, today you don't know me, Nyauyoma. I'm like, okay, mother, it's you. Oh, why are you speaking in Swahili? You change your voice. Yeah, it's normal. Then I'm like, okay. And I had put on a loudspeaker for George to listen to what the mother was saying. And I'm like, okay, how may I help you? That I was just greeting you. Then I said, okay, today you are calling me. I've been calling you since I left your home. You never talk to me. Yeah, it's normal. It's nothing. And she was kind of rude. And I said, okay, thank you for calling. Okay, fine. And she hung up. And I was looking at George like, your mother knows that you're in my house. You have to call her tomorrow and tell her, I came for a week. I'm busy. It's like this. I'm going to come back maybe after a month, At least for me to be in peace. Yeah. I don't want to be insulted tomorrow. I don't want someone to come and attack me that I've done ABCD. Yes. Your family are so controlling and I don't like it. And he said, I will not. And I kept quiet. The next morning, his brother came. His brother could just come to my house anyhow. Even the time I was in China, he would just come and stay with the house girl and the kid, and it's normal, yeah? So, in short, he likes me, and I like him. We are friends. When he came, George was in the bedroom, and I opened the door, and I told him, now, you know what? Your brother is here. And he just kept quiet. And he went to the living room and just said hello. And after he said hello, I was preparing breakfast. He went downstairs and refused to come back. I'd put the breakfast on the table. We had breakfast. And I don't know what his brother did. I don't know whether the brother sent a message or did what. And people could just call him anyhow. Whenever someone was calling him, he would be like, yeah, he's not here. He went downstairs. Yeah, Ruth is here. George is not talking. ABCD. When he hangs up, someone again calls. Like both parents were calling non-stop. He has not given me anything. He's quiet. He went down. He's not talking. Ruth is here. And then he was like, Ruth, take the phone. Talk to daddy. And I said, no. I don't want to talk to him. He knows my number. Let him call me through my number. And what is it that he wants to tell me now? And since I left his home, he never wanted to talk to me. So, I'm not going to talk to him. And I went down to look for George, and I brought George to my house, inside the house, and I told him, please, I want you to finish with your brother and release him to go to his house. So that when they call him, he will say, I'm in my house. I don't like this issue of people calling him, I'm in Ruth's house, George is down, he's not talking, he has not given me money, Ruth is here. I don't like it. There's a lot of tension in my house, and I love peace. I really love peace. I don't like this kind of life. And you too, you are not talking to your brother. What is happening? And he just clicked and went to the bedroom. I followed him there and asked him, what is going on? You people, what is happening? I don't understand. I really don't understand what is going on. And George had not told me anything about his family. He didn't say anything. He was this kind of quiet person. He wasn't talking too much. And he gave me 6,000 and he told me, take this money, give that stupid boy to go to his house. Let him leave your house. Tell him, leave my house, don't ever come back. I said, no. I cannot chase a human being. Because that is what I went through in life. It is something that I don't wish to do for someone else. I can imagine the pain I was feeling when someone would chase me out of their house. I would go in tears, and it's a curse. It's not a blessing to send someone out. So I told him, he's your brother. You can tell him anything. For me, they will say I'm a woman. Hey, she have a bad heart. She did what? No. I want to leave you. Maybe I give you space. You talk as brothers. Or escort him. Sit somewhere in the restaurant or anywhere. Discuss anything over there. I won't be there. You people, you know what is happening with you. Me, I know nothing. I will not take that money and give your brother. And he took the money and went to the living room. I told him, please, just take breakfast first, then go. He said, no. Then I told him, in front of his brother, I told him, I want you to release this boy. Let him go to his place. So that when they call him, he would say, yeah. And I told him, I don't like what is happening. I don't like problems in my house. So they left, they went. And from there, he came back and he told me, yeah, I told him, don't ever come in Ruth's house. I don't want. I said, what? Then he said, no, don't mind them. I had to do that at least because I don't want them to say I'm a bad one. So I thought, okay, I'm the one who's bad. For you are a woman. It's normal. Women are like that. I kept quiet. That was Wednesday. On Thursday, I became sick. Very sick. It started during the day. I would scream like someone was cutting my head. I would just scream. I didn't know what was happening to me. I was screaming and I was bleeding. We went to the hospital. They did some tests on me. After doing the test, they were like, let us just be injecting diclofenac to cure the pain. Like, yes, it's just a painkiller, it helps. And we'll give her some painkillers too to go with in the house. Yeah. We came back to the house. So after every 2 hours, I had to take the painkiller. And I still had to go for injections in the morning. Without the painkillers, I was nobody. I would just cry and scream in the house. I could not sleep. And I was sleeping. After taking the medicine, I was just lying down. And I had a message. A message entered in my phone. And I had that... I told him, just be controlling my phone. If someone calls, if any message, just take the phone. Me, I'm weak. I was very weak. I cannot do anything. Just control my phone. And he took the phone, and I had him, overheard him. He clicked, like, and I'm like, what is it? Then he was like, who gave this stupid girl your number? I'm like, who is stupid girl? My sister. Then I said, what did she say? Did she insult me? That no. Then why are you clicking? What did she wrote? That, hi Ruth, I'm Caro. I'm Caro, sister to George. Please let me talk to my brother. Then I said, what is wrong with that? I didn't know this George had blocked everyone in his family. Then I said, what is wrong with that? You can just call her. There's no problem. And when he started calling, he went to the living room. I could hear him shouting. They're insulting each other. Then later he brought the phone. After he brought the phone, and I asked him, why are you shouting and why are you insulting? What is happening? Then he said, don't mind that stupid girl. Don't mind any of my family members. All of them are stupid and witches. Then I said, okay. I kept quiet. I slept. In the morning, I went back for my injections. That was now Friday. We stayed. George was supposed to go back to Switzerland on Saturday. On Friday, I was still sick. I was still sick. On Saturday, the same story. And even he wanted to change his flight. I said, no, don't change your flight. God is with me. Just go. Just go back. And he went. After he went, of course, you have to give someone time for the journey. Maybe after the journey, the person have to rest. He is the one who should at least send you a message. I reached safe and ABCD. So I waited for him to tell me that he reached safe to Switzerland. And he went back. And he kept quiet until Sunday. No, until Saturday night. He woke me up with a phone call and he asked me, Mama, are you still sick? I said, yeah. He said, no, Ruth, I know you are very sick, and don't hide anything from me. You like protecting my family. Yes, you always support them. You don't know these people. You don't know them. These people are threatening to kill you. You are not sick. They are the ones witching you. And they have threatened me that they are going to kill you. And I will not allow it. I know you are very sick, and don't hide this from you. Tomorrow, if you don't wake up okay, just tell me. I will come and kill these people with my gun. I promise them that I'll come and shoot all of them. If they kill my woman, they will see. Then I just kept quiet. After that phone call, the mother called me. That, my daughter, are you sick? I said, yeah. I'm praying for you, my daughter. You know we are friends. I'm really praying for you. I said, Mommy, thank you for praying for me. And she hung up. In the morning at 6, that was Sunday, very early in the morning, she called me. My daughter, by the way, after her phone call, I wasn't in pain, and I remember after every 2 hours I could take diclofenac. I didn't take any medicine. After her phone call, I didn't even take an hour, and I slept. And I slept until morning. She was the one who woke me up again with her phone call at 6. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night like I was doing. She was like, my daughter, you see, I've prayed for you. I told you, my friend, I'll pray for you. Then I said, Mommy, thank you. Thank you for praying for me. So, the son also called me. George called me after that. But, Mommy, you see, and now you are okay? You see, now you have recovered? Of course, I had to threaten to finish their lives if they kill you. So, they had to undo it. Yeah, they had to undo it. Those juju they had put to kill you. Yes. From there, I was just okay. After 3 days, the sister started insulting me because she had my number now. She could send me skeletons. She could just write there, rest in peace, Ruth. This is you. I'm burying you soon. And please don't be buried in my land, the land that I bought for my family. You are a useless woman. You are a witch. You took our brother and kept in your house and ABCD. So for me, I was just laughing because I knew I was innocent. I didn't do anything. And I could send the screenshots to the brother. And he was like, I told you these people are witches. Don't mind them. And then she continued. She went for 3 days. The second day, I blocked her everywhere. She could not reach me. She used the brother to insult me. The brother was calling me and insulting me. The third day, I had to call their father. I told the father that, Father, I'm sorry, but I'm going to arrest your son. Your children have been insulting me. The other one is in Germany. I cannot reach her. But this one is in pipeline here. I'm going to arrest him. And I've recorded everything that he insulted me with. And the father was also siding with his kids. Hey, you're a bad woman. You took my son, kept in your house. You will know that I'm a former police. I said, fine. There's no problem. You are siding with your children because you are alive. For me, my father is rotten. He's dead. He cannot fight for me. There is no problem. Just stay alive, fight for them. Just stay alive forever and side with them when they're doing something wrong. And then it's like that message touched him. And then after I hung up, he called me back and said, hey, my daughter, we can solve problems. You just come here and we solve from the village. You can just come. And George had told me, I told you these people are witches. Don't ever go to them. Don't ever go to them. Don't ever talk to them. Just keep off. So I told him, you can tell George that I should come to your home. If George says yes, I will come. If he says no, I will not come. So he told me that is my son. I'm the one controlling him. If I say no, that you will not marry him, he will not marry you. He will not. If I say he will not see you. He will not see you. Then I said, Baba, that is your son, not my son. You can do anything you want with him. And I hung up and I blocked everyone. and I continue with my life. So that time I was home, and later I went back to China, because after all these chaos and problems, I could see George was ignoring me sometimes. And when I went back to China, I asked him, okay, why were you ignoring me? I could tell you about your family. And he told me, Ruth, is not you alone. Me, these people fought me. They were still fighting me. They were even threatening to tell the white lady about you. I'm like, which white lady? That, yeah, Erica. Then I said, oh, so you mean Erica is there? And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, it's my father and my mother who told me to hide this from you, that they are going to use you. He opened up and told me about everything those people are up to. Then he was like, ma'am, that is why I was protecting you. You see, I didn't allow you to sleep in that house. They were telling me you have to sleep in that house. After you sleep, you will die ahead, like you're going to die in your home. You cannot be buried there. That is why my sister was like, rest in peace. Don't be buried in my land, the one I bought for my family, and ABCD. At least I protected you. You see, I was even against them. I even come to your house. I didn't go to them. You see, I love you. I cannot leave you. They want me to leave you. They were threatening to kill you. See, I fought for you. You are alive. I'm not against you. Me, I love you. I cannot do anything. Then for me, I was like, in my heart, I said, okay, no wonder my heart refused this man. Now I have a reason to go away from him. First of all, if someone tells you that my family are witches, how can you stay there, even if you are not normal? Even if the man loves you to death, you cannot stay with a man who has confirmed for you that the family are witches, they are wizards. Of course, they will fight you for the rest of your life and your entire generation. So I said, okay, now I have a good reason to leave this man. Me, I don't want someone's husband. I want my own husband. I cannot stay with someone who has a woman. Yes. I could not tell him directly like that. But the problem just continued. The problem continued. One time I told him, George, I'm sorry, but you have to let me go. Yes. You have to let me go because, first of all, your family are terrible. Secondly, you are like hiding me. If that woman finds out I'm here, you said she will shoot you and she will deport you, and yes. So it's like she owns your life and you're afraid of losing her. And for me, my life is stuck. Like, I'm not stable. At least for you, I'm not married. And at the same time, I'm not married to you. And I'm still like a single parent, because even the money you're sending me is not enough. You're not sending me enough money. At the same time, you don't want me to go to my China where you found me. Your family are terrible. They'll be fighting me all of the time. Just let us just be friends, but I cannot be your woman anymore. And George was, I think, he got mad. And after a few days, I don't know. And I remember his father was threatening, like, hey, you will not see him. Hey, ABCD. I even told him that, by the way, your father, he told me that if he says no, that you will not see me, I will not see you. So your father is the one who's controlling your parents are controlling your life. Me, I don't want that. I want to be free. And that's how we started communicating. And George blocked me. When he blocked me, I was very happy. I didn't want to block him because at least he fought for me. He loved me so much. He turned against his entire family for me. I really appreciate. So I would feel guilty blocking him first, but at least he blocked me first, and I was very happy. And in fact, I thank God for that. And after 3 months, one time I was sleeping, and I saw George in my dreams. After I saw George in my dreams, and I woke up, and when I woke up, I found that my body was very hot. Yeah. And I felt like I need to be with someone by that time. And I don't even know how this thing started. And the next day, the same dream came, but I couldn't see who. And that's how I started having wet dreams. And whenever I could have this kind of dream, whenever I could wake up, I would find myself like I was with somebody. Yeah. And I started masturbating just like that. And this masturbation continued until I became addicted. And when I was masturbating, I could bring George's image. One thing that people don't know how to, that's why I'm sharing my story. You cannot masturbate without bringing someone's image in your mind. You have to bring someone's image in your mind. Someone you've been with, or someone you love. You cannot do it without that. And people don't know that when you do that, you are satisfying a spirit, which you don't know. And these spirits are coming. They are calling each other, come. Someone is serving us over there. So I could do this thing like 6 times a day. And I've done this thing for 4 years. 4 good years. And when I was doing this thing, I got so addicted. My life changed. I could even feel like I'm far from God. I could not compose songs anymore. I could not have visions. God was using me. These things disappeared. And I could hate men. I could really hate men. I didn't know that because of this spirit of masturbation could chase my men away. I'm saying my man because just any man who would come to me, like wants to date me or want to get close, I would just think about George, and I would feel like I'm betraying him. Yeah, maybe he's seeing me. I didn't know that there was a spirit that was sent to me to marry me, was chasing them away. A man could meet me on the way, on the road, like, wow, this lady is very beautiful. Oh, God's image. Wow. If I hear that, I would get angry. And someone will like, hey, you know, the first time you approach a woman, she will say no. The next time she will say yes. So someone maybe will keep on pushing whenever this person meets you. And men were obsessed with me. Men were very obsessed with me. Someone will love me too much. And for me, I would get angry. And whenever I would tell someone that, keep off, just keep off me, you don't listen, I would beat you. The men that I had beaten are countless. I don't even know the number. Those whom I just slapped, I can't even remember. But I know there are people. Some are even like insulted. Some I just not insulted like throwing or abusing. No, just with my eyes. I didn't know there was a veil on my face. Because if someone would call me and I would turn and look at you, you would end up saying, I'm sorry, madam, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was another eye that was looking at them. I didn't know. So I lived with that kind of life for 4 good years. I could not date anyone. I could not do anything. And this thing made me to be alone. The funny thing, whenever I was home, I was just okay. But when I go back to China, I just want to go alone, to stay somewhere where there is nobody. Just want to be alone. This thing made even like, I don't know what was happening with women. Women were also provoking me. Anyhow, I could beat them. Yes, I could beat them. Those whom I've beaten, they know themselves. They're watching me now. I could beat them. And I feel very sorry. I feel very, very sorry. Me, I was born a very humble girl. Very humble. Those whom I was staying with before in their homes, they know me. I was a very quiet and humble girl. Whenever I look at my daughter, the way she's humble and quiet, I just see myself in her, how I was. And people could use me. People could just use me because I was quiet and humble. So there was one time I felt like a voice was telling me that because people are using me and you are quiet, why can't you beat them? Imagine I could beat anybody. I could just beat anyone who provokes me, who annoys me. My hand was just always like there is a fire that is burning. After I slap you, then I will be normal. And when I sit alone, I would ask myself, why did I do that? Why did I beat that person? Why did I do that? I remember there was a girl whom I organized a job for in China. That girl betrayed me. She went back. She went back on my back. She went, and I don't know what she did with my bosses. And the Chinese are very Chinese. If a Chinese trusts you, the person trusts you with her life, and she will make sure that everyone around trusts you. When a Chinese does not trust you, that's it. So this girl, I don't know what she did with my Chinese people. Like, those people I worked with for so many years, they loved me. I don't know what she did, because I took her there and at least gave her something to do. You know, it's good to help. Me, I've been helping people. And this is what has been happening to me. Someone will go against me. Maybe I would leave someone, go to Kenya. When I come back, I cannot go back to that work. It was even happening to me in Sudan. So this girl, when I came back, my bosses were, you have to go, you can't stay here, what. And imagine, when for her she would stay and work, and for me I was chased. I got so pissed off. I was so mad. I'm telling you, I would maybe beat you, or maybe cut your clothes or anything. That girl, I remember I took a scissor and I removed the wig on her head and I started cutting it into pieces. I told her that you should thank your stars. You see the way this thing is, your body would have been like this. The only thing I did was that I gave her a very hot slap. She even had a red mark. Something was even telling me, strangle her to death. But I thank God. God held my hands. And at least, I had cut that wig. It was too much for me. And when I knew that I could beat somebody, at least people are now fearing me. Another one was like, Ruth, I need a job, please, and help me. And Ruth, please, don't beat me. You like beating people. Ruth, please don't beat me. And I started laughing. Because sometimes I was just a normal person, and I would ask myself, why do I beat people? Even if they have done me wrong, I'm not supposed to revenge. Vengeance are for the Lord. But sometimes I'm like, Suits are right. She deserves it. Yeah, she deserved to be beaten. Yes. So that was my life. In 2019, there was lockdown. That was now 2020. I left the city called Guangzhou. The airport was closed. I went to a city called Lanzhou, and I was in that city. I was alone. I didn't want to have any friends. I was alone, and there was lockdown. There was nothing we were doing, and we were just staying in the rooms. And I remember watching side effects of masturbation. I saw on YouTube 21 effects of masturbation, and I started watching, and I saw what I saw there were the things that I was going through. I saw back pains, headache, anger, nightmares, tiredness. Yeah. And at the same time, I was bleeding a lot. When I was attending, I was bleeding a lot, and I could have a severe headache. On my head, I was feeling like someone was cutting me. And then I didn't finish. I watched like maybe 7 of them, and something pushed my hand to press the pause button, and I slept. After 2 days, I loved watching true stories. Yeah, most of the time. Being a Tuko fan, I used to watch Tuko a lot. When Ngugi would say, watu wangu, tusaidie huyu, I was sending, because I was feeling like, I don't go to church. Where do I pay my tithe? It's one way of paying tithe. So I could also send something. Yeah. So when Lynn was saying watu wangu, I was one of them, watu wake. Yeah. And I would help. And I saw, it was written there, where I saw that I slept with demons. And I watched a little, and I slept. And imagine, I used to sleep during the day. During the night, I could not sleep. I don't know how I just felt asleep. I slept. So in the morning I woke up at 2 and I was like, I was watching something interesting. Let me continue. And I washed my eyes and I sat down. This thing made me not to eat. I was not eating. I was not healthy. And there was a time my blood was low, and the doctor told me that you have low blood pressure and you don't have blood. Remember, I told you I was bleeding. I was always bleeding. It was not coming like a normal periods. I'm sorry, but I was always bleeding. So I was losing a lot of blood. These demons are terrible. They can do anything to you. So where I was heading was a point of death, because I was losing a lot of blood. I was not eating. I was not social. I was always isolated, I wanted to be alone. Sometimes when this thing would leave me, I would feel like, why am I alone? I'm lonely. Imagine. Sometimes I could be allowed to date, especially when I would come here home. When someone takes me for dinner or lunch, we will not finish nicely. A person will come nicely, well dressed, good looking, pick me with his car. We are going. I'll dress very nice. Like when we reach there, all eyes would be on me like, wow, look at that lady. But I'm telling you, this man will be proud that he's walking with a nice lady. But for me, in my heart, I would say, you are joking with me. I'm going to show you fire. So the man maybe will compliment me in the middle of dinner, or he will maybe compliment me like, wow, you are smart, you are beautiful, you are what? You know how men behave. Immediately this man will say this, I will get mad. I will get angry, and I will be like, drop me home. If you don't, I can go by myself. So the person will be like, calm down. No. So I would feel in my heart like, in my mind something was like, embarrass him, because I was not allowed to date. I was not allowed to date anyone. Sometimes I would be like, okay, let me just go. But this thing was so controlling, would allow me to date someone but mistreat the person. I will make sure that your life is miserable. You cannot touch me. You cannot touch me. But other things, you can just do anything. And someone will just spoil me. If it's shopping, if it's what the person will do. But someone will be like, now, what am I even doing with this? So the person will get tired and go. And most of the time, I was the one who was quitting. I was chasing someone. Like, you call me, I will just chase you. Don't ever call me. Do I look like you? I will just say anything. And I was looking for mistakes from men. I was just looking for mistakes. I would maybe say, you have a lot of beards I don't like. You have a big stomach. I would just look for anything that will make you angry. And you'll end up going, and I will just laugh. I will laugh and say, wow, I'm a winner. I'm a strong lady. Yes. Yeah. So it was happening like that. There was a time I could be allowed, there was a time I could not be allowed. So the funny thing, in 2019, in that 2020, yes, that 2020, I remember I met someone that my heart really loved so much. And no matter what was happening, imagine I could not hate this man. I could not hate him. My heart just loved him. And I'm sorry, but sometimes I could call him, I would tell him, let's make love over the phone. The first times the man will agree. Then later he will tell me, okay, let's do it. And then he will refuse again. He will say, no, no, no. When he says no, whenever this man would say no, I'll be like, go away. I already finished making love with you and you don't know. You are very stupid. I would take my phone and put this one. I would just be looking at him, masturbating. And being that is the man that my heart loves. And I would even say, you don't even know. I would already rape you in the morning. You don't even know anything. And I would laugh. I didn't know that it was evil. I didn't know whatever I was doing was evil. So this is the only man that I never hated. until today. One time, this man was tired of me because for me, what I was doing when I meant that I mistreat them, I would really look for attention from you. If my heart likes you, I would just want you to be calling me every time, talking to me every time. And you know, when you like someone, what you do, that is what was happening. So for me, this one is the only man I never mistreated. For him, it thinks that I was bad on him. But for me, in my heart, the way I know how I was, he's the only man who didn't face it with me. In fact, he's the only man whom I really loved so much that I never let go. So I don't know what happened those days. The man woke up from nowhere and blocked me everywhere. He blocked me everywhere. And I was crying a lot. I was really crying a lot. I felt like I've lost him. I was really crying a lot. And I told God, I have to fight and bring this man back. Sometimes this man will tell me, tafadhali wacha bangi. Stop smoking weed. And I would laugh. I'm like, am I a weed smoker? He was saying that I was disturbing him. And for me, I was feeling that I was not disturbing him. Compared to other men, I was not disturbing him. But for him, he was saying, Ruth, you are stubborn. You are stubborn. He was always saying that you are stubborn. He was always calling me a weed smoker. Even if you'd meet him, who is Ruth Midundo? He would tell you, Ruth. He will first laugh because I'm crazy at the same time. And he would tell you, Ruth is a weed smoker. So, what pushed me to fight a lot was this man. And I didn't know how I was going to fight because in my heart I was feeling like I need to live like a normal human being. I want to live like a woman. I want to love a man. Because I feel like I love someone whom I'm not seeing. I didn't know that I love a spirit. I felt like I need to be normal and I need to be loved. I need a man to love me and I need to love a man. God created me to be with a man, not with a spirit, not with something that I don't know, you know. And God said himself, it is not good to be alone. So it's already 4 years since we parted ways with George, and I'm alone and I don't want to talk to anybody. And now the one that I like, those ones, even if they were going or me chasing them out, I never mind. I never care about them. But this one now, he's gone and I love him and I need to fight for him. So then I was just quiet. So when I saw that I slept with demons and I had to watch this thing, and I'm like, this one is interesting. I have to watch it. And I watched the whole story and finished. So when this lady was talking, I felt like this one was me. This lady's me. There was a part that she said that she slept with demons. She mentioned that part, and she said she used to dress sexy and you cannot touch her. That was me. I was buying sexy night dresses. I even get rid of some of them. Some I've kept. I don't need to dress them when I'm alone. I was buying sexy night dresses and I was sleeping when I was looking sexy. I didn't know that I was dressing to satisfy a spirit. I didn't know. So she mentioned all these, and then I said, wow, this is the way to fight. The way to fight is to pray. I need to pray. I don't need to get help from anybody. And I will not call this guy. I will just leave him. I just want to leave him. I need to fight to be normal. I want this person to love me because I'm normal. I don't want him to love me because of what I've been doing. There was a day he complained about my behavior. He told me that, Ruth, you are too much. You are too much, and You are making me to feel like I should go and buy prostitutes on the street. And you know you are far, and the way you are talking, and ABCD. So for me, I was laughing. I didn't know that something was the one speaking inside me, controlling my life. Because the way I know myself, the way I grew up, I'm not this kind of a woman who is so much into men. No, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up fearing God. Even the people whom I stayed with in their homes, there is no day someone had a case with me that Ruth is jumping around with men. Is never, never. So why was I doing that? I saw everything. I overheard everything that she said. So I stayed for 2 days. I didn't do anything. So one time I slept like I used to sleep in the morning. Then I would sleep the whole day. During the whole night, I was just watching movie because I was bored. No work. There is lockdown. There is nothing much we are doing. Yeah. So I was sleeping during the day, and it was midday, and I was feeling like my head was so heavy, and I was in a deep sleep, and I heard a voice waking me up that Ruth, wake up and pray. And I thought that it was just a dream, and I continue sleeping. I overheard the voice for the second time, and the third time the voice shouted that, Ruth, I said wake up and pray. And I was so frightened. I was in shock, and my body was shaking. And when I woke up with big eyes. I'm like, wow, what is that? And I was alone. If I was with someone, maybe the person would be like, hey, what is wrong with you? So I was alone, and when I looked at myself, I saw myself as if I was naked in the sight of the Lord. Yes. And I said, no. I should pray like this? No. I covered myself like a Muslim because I was seeing as if I was naked before God. And still I asked myself, where did I get these clothes? Where did I get them from? Am I the one who bought this kind of clothes? And I covered myself, and I started praying. And the way Chinese constructed their houses, on the wall, there is no wall like made of cement. It's made of plywood, but when you look at it, it's like cemented. And when you're speaking from the other side, someone will hear you. And Chinese used to say that, hey, Africans like shouting. You like shouting, you talk too much, you shout. So they didn't like noise. So I was asking myself, when you're praying, the enemy will also tell you that, you will make noise, shut up and sleep. Because for me, I was feeling like I was just okay. I was feeling like I was okay. I was never going to get HIV. I was never going to get pregnant. I was never going to get any disease. Yes, so I was just fine. And the same spirit was cheating me again now, telling me that, hey, you see that lady? She was delivered in Kenya. You are in China. There's no need to do that. You don't need to pray. You will pray in Kenya. And when you pray, you will shout. And Chinese will throw you out. And you know what will happen to you? You will end up going back to Guangzhou. And you don't like to stay with people. It's better you keep quiet and close your door. But God's spirit was very strong than this demon. They were like negotiating. They were like fighting. And I just found myself on my knees. And I prayed. I prayed for about 40 minutes. I can remember. And I was crying for God in tears. I was telling God one thing. I want to be normal. I want to be a normal human being. I want to be a normal woman. I want to love. I want to be loved. I want to get married. So God, please deliver my life. I am tired. I'm tired of sickness. I'm tired of bleeding. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of everything. I just feel like I need to die. Because of stress at the same time, everywhere was locked. My daughter was home alone with my friends. I have to send money home, I have to survive, and I didn't have a job. So this thing was making me that whenever I had stress, there was nothing I was doing but that masturbation. That is where I was going to finish my stress. So I asked God that, for how long will I be masturbating because I'm stressed? And at the same time, I was sick. My body was always weak. I was tired of life. I was tired of everything. And I thank Almighty God because through the prayer, I was delivered. I vomited a lot. I vomited heavy saliva and I don't know mix of what. I vomited like that spell came out and I felt like my body was very, very light. At the same time, I had a sweat, tears, I vomited. I told God, you created me as a woman. You gave me like 7 holes on my head, in my body. Just use one hole. If it's through my mouth, through anywhere, like let everything come out. So God used my mouth and I vomited. And from there, I felt like I was free. And I don't remember when I fell on the floor. And it was winter. It was even snowing outside. Those days, those areas in northern China, there is a lot of snow during winter. It was snowing outside. It was cold. And guess what? God blocked the Chinese ears. They were there. I could even hear them talking. But there is nowhere they knocked like, hey, you are shouting, you are making noise. They didn't do. And they could, even just talking on the phone, a Chinese will come and kick the door for you like, shut up, you're making noise. They did not do. God blocked their ears. You see the way enemies can fight you. The enemy was telling me that I will make noise, I should stop. But God wanted me to pray. And I fell on the floor during that prayer. And I even slept. I was very weak. In fact, I was not eating at all. Not because there's no food. The demon does not want you to eat. The demon wants to kill you. The demon has already stole, destroy, and what was remaining for them was to kill me. So they had already stolen my life. They had already destroyed my life. What was remaining was just one. If Jesus didn't come, I was going to die. I was going to be killed. So I was not even eating. I felt so cold on the floor and I woke up. When I woke up, I found myself in that situation. I went, I cleaned the floor, I took shower. And after taking shower, I felt so hungry like I never ate for a year. I went outside and I cooked a lot of food and I ate so well. And after eating so well, I prayed again and slept. I told God one thing when I was praying again, that I believe that today you have delivered my life. I am free in Jesus' name. But this prayer is going to go for 7 days. And after 7 days, I will continue praying. But I believe that today, you have delivered my life. So after that prayer, I slept again. At night again, I woke up, I ate again and slept. And I continue with the prayer. The second day, I didn't vomit much, just a little. The third day, there was nothing until the 7th day. And in that Guangzhou, most of Kenyans there knew me. I know they are watching me. They knew me. They knew Ruth is a no-go zone. You cannot stop me on the road. You cannot talk to me. I would fight you. You are a man, you want to approach me. I would fight you. Even women were so mean to me for no reason. I would fight you. So I told God one thing. I know that I'm going back to Guangzhou and I have a lot of enemies over there. And I want you to enter in this passport and go with me. Enter in my body, let us go for a journey. I was going to look for my visa. I want them to see you in me. And when I went, I was surprised. The people who didn't even want to do anything with me, I saw them. One of them. And he was like, Ruth, come, sit down. Let us drink juice. We drink juice. Before that house we were staying in Guangzhou, I was staying with 4 men in the house, but I had my own room. That is how we are staying Africans. We really love each other abroad. You can share a house, you contribute. So I had my own bedroom. Whenever I would go to Guangzhou, I would go. And there is one guy from Congo. We were just staying, Congolese, Cameroon, where. So that Congolese used to fear me. Those men, all of them used to fear me because I would close myself in the room. And if you knock my room, the way I will chase you. Those men would see me after every 2 days, maybe, when I'm in Guangzhou. They would see me after 2 days. When they knock the room, the way I will just look at somebody and they will be like, I'm sorry for knocking. Maybe the person is knocking. Like that time, I remember they were saying, we were just knocking for you to ask if you're okay. Or maybe, can you eat? Because we have not seen you eating. We have not seen you outside. Are you okay? Maybe you are sick. Everyone was stressed. I would shout, leave me alone. So when I woke up, that guy, the Congolese guy who used to fear me a lot, he was the manager of the house. He used to fear me a lot. And he saw me in the morning and he goes, hi, Ruth. I said, hi. I said, wow. Are you okay? I said, yes. And I was just smiling that, wow, Ruth, you have changed. I'm like, oh. Then I said, thank you, Jesus. He asked me, why are you saying thank you, Jesus? I said, no, it's nothing. But I was very happy in my heart. I said, wow, I've changed. And that's what I asked God. I want to hear someone saying that, Ruth, you have changed. And this is exactly what I'm hearing. Then I asked him, I wanted to hear more from him. Then I asked him, how was I before? He said, Ruth, ulikuwa mkali kama simba. Then I started laughing. That I was rage. I was very harsh. I was like a lion. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Then I told him, you know what? God delivered my life. Jesus delivered my life. And he said, how? I told him that, by the way, I just said, God, Jesus delivered my life. I couldn't go into details, but I knew what I was saying. And he told me that, wow, and you look more beautiful. And I said, oh, thank you. And he's like, what? You're saying thank you? I said, yeah, what am I supposed to say? That, ish. Anyway, God has delivered you, eh? Like you said. Do you know that before I would tell you you are beautiful and you would be like, you want to beat me, you are very angry. Eh? Then I was like, I don't remember. Honestly, I could not remember. From there, that was morning. During the day, I'm going there. Kenyans are like, come and sit with us. Wow, give her juice. They're buying me juice. Drink, sit with us. I'm like, wow, this is life now. Thank you, Jesus. This is life. This is what I prayed for. This is what I wanted. And from there, that's how my life changed. I could sit normal with the people. In fact, I was even missing now Guangzhou. I wanted to move from my seat to come and stay with them because I could see love in them. It's only that someone would not come. Those who even provoked me could not come and say, Ruth, I'm sorry, I did this. No. Or even me, I could not even... For me, I knew what was happening. But for them, they could not know. And I could not just start telling them. They would say that I was pretending. You know, human being. But I hope they are watching my story. They are watching the way I'm trending. And I thank God for delivering my life. And I feel so sorry for whom I've hurt in the past. For those whom I've beaten. For those whom I've done what. For all the men I disappointed in the past. I feel very, very sorry. I can just say that it was not my time to shine. It was not my time to get married. Someone even cried for me and told me that this... I even felt that this guy cursed me. He told me something that, Ruth, you see the way you are treating me. You will find a man whom you love so much, and that man will treat you the same way you are treating me. And the man cried in tears just because I said no to him. He went to the United States of America. He's John Mushimba. Maybe he's going to watch me. Kindly, you can just reach me. I just need to apologize. He moved on, yeah. He went and got married and we lost contact, yes. But I feel very sorry for everyone whom I disappointed in the past. I'm a changed person now. God brought my life back. I know I've changed because if you knew me in the past and you know me now, me, I'm just quiet. Someone, a true friend will even call me, hey, Ruth, are you around? You're quiet. I'm like, I'm always quiet. This is my life. I'm this person who likes to keep quiet. Like, I always mind my business. I don't even go to people's houses. I don't even go. People don't even come much to my place. I'm always alone. But I'm a normal person. God delivered my life. I am a normal person. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please subscribe and share and like. I'm so grateful for being here today. May God bless you. For those who are reaching me, I'm going to put on my phone number over there. You can call me anytime. You can reach me anytime. I'm ready. I'm here ready to talk to you, to mentor you, to show you the way. Some people are calling me, telling me, pray for you. Kindly, I want you to pray for yourself. I did pray for myself. When you watch my story, you'll know. You will know what happened. You will know everything. You will know how I overcome this. Don't call and tell me, Ruth, pray for me. I want you to pray for yourself. I want you to struggle and pray for yourself. God listens. You don't need to go to someone to pray for you. You don't need to go to a pastor to pray for you. You need to pray for yourself. God knows everything that you need. God knows everything that you want. But He's just waiting for you to say, I want this. He cannot give you bread when you ask for. He cannot give you stones when you ask for bread. He cannot give you snake when you ask for fish. He will give you exactly what you want Him to give you. He is just waiting for you to tell Him that, Daddy, I want this. It's very simple. And it's all about faith. For me, I had faith that day. I told God that you are the one who woke me up to pray. You are going to deliver my life. And since then, I'm just a normal person. I'm just a normal person. And after my deliverance, that guy who blocked me, whom I like, the one I was talking about, unblocked me immediately. And we are in contact until date, and we are good friends. I know you want to hear more from that. The rest, just come to my inbox. I will reply you. Thank you so much and stay blessed. Thank you.